So any questions on this part?
No, sir, it is clear.
Okay, okay. So thing is that even like if there's no engineering department, in most of the cases it happens like in some of the company there's no separate engineering department. It has the SOC. So in that case, this can like if it is not there, so this can be one of the most important project that can be taken by one of the SOC member, and they can kind of work on it by themselves. So it's quite easy actually. Like as you know, this is the diagram. All you need to do is like set up a let's say there's a company who doesn't have a engineering department that helps SOC in implementing this step. So this is an opportunity for the SOC member. So what they do is like they first set up a threat intel portal, a free threat intel portal in the environment. They subscribe to the let's say the Mandiant threat intel feed for free, and the analyst is kind of feeding that. They automatically let's say using Python code, they write some code which actually which runs on the same environment, and what it does is like it subscribes to the alert and kind of automate the logging search and setting up the alert. So setting up that by yourself is actually not hard. Okay, all you need to do is like you need to understand like let's say one programming language. Let's say for Python programming language, you need to understand that, and if you know that, and what you can do is, and then you just need to see like if this threat intel portal, the one that you're using, uh, does it kind of provide an API from you where you can kind of poll the threat intel portal at regular interval if there's any kind of document that has been saved uh, recently. And once it pulls out, it gets the details and it kind of fetches the data. And that Python code, it reads that document and kind of automatically kind of what you say, set up an alert or start the logging things for you. So it's actually quite easy to implement, but it's always better that a company has an engineering department who does this, because there will two things. It is not kind of a one-time setup. There needs to be kind of maintenance too, because there might be some issues that come up with the code later. And what would happen is that let's say there's only one analyst working on this, not an engineering department. So the issue will be that let's say the analyst was able to kind of write a code and implement this architecture. Okay, but let's say the code stopped working at certain point of time. Okay, so in that case, the team will think that they are putting the data in the thread handle portal, and it is the SIM is automatically kind of setting up an alert and searching the log, but that won't be the case. So they will miss out on certain different alerts. So it's always better that an engineering department uh, allocated for this SOC team does this setup and also kind of maintain the tool and also kind of check like if there's any kind of let's say the code breaks, the code exited, they automatically inform the SOC team that okay guys, there's this team that this is one of the code that is not working, and kind of we are working on kind of trying to resolve the issue, and the issue will be resolved in let's say next 1 or 2 hours. Okay, so these are the things that needs to be kind of kept in mind while kind of dealing with the threat, handling the threat intel suite for any kind of organization. So I hope there's no other question on this threat intel part. And now I will take any other question guys you have. So one of the question I heard about, which is other related to forensics. So let me know what was that question again.
So it was related to IR thing, like is it a separate thing, or can we like what is the real responsibility for IR team? So is it like separate from the SOC analyst role, or is it a part of it, or can we separately do this part as a career?
Okay, so now for this again the scenario is same, which is it again depends on the funds that is available to the SOC team for an organization. So one of the things that normally happens is that in most of the cases the funds are quite low. So the forensics things is something which is kind of given to a third party. So whenever there's a very large scale incident, we just ask them for their help in helping us doing the forensics. And if not, let's say the SOC team that is in a company which is tired, let's say tier one and separated out in tier one, two, and three. So what will happen is that in that case, the tier two and three guys will be actually doing the forensics work. It won't be like in most of the cases, it will be like the this tier two and three are doing the forensics work, and only when there's a very large scale incident, let's say there are thousands of computer which has been compromised, So only in that case, the company go reach out to the third party to help them in kind of conduct the forensics. Otherwise, it's all done by the internal team. Okay, so that's one thing. And the other thing is that when the setup of the SOC in a company is tireless, like there is no tier environment like tier 1 or 2 or 3. So anyone in that team can kind of conduct the forensics. Now the uh, now now one of the thing is that from a career point of view, uh, it is one of the I will say one of the most important core technical knowledge that any software needs to have. Okay, how to kind of conduct the forensics. So thing is that in next modules and all, we have a syllabus where I will kind of discussing how to kind of conduct the forensics and all. But there is three like but it is one of the core important part. And thing is that the person needs to know about what kind of operating system is normally used in the company. So let's say the company uses Windows, Linux, and Mac operating system. So the analyst should be okay with kind of conducting deep level forensics on all those three operating systems, Windows, Linux, and Mac. It's not like that, just Windows, because even if you reach out to any other company, you will figure out, you will learn that everyone is looking for a knowledge in every of those forensics, not just like every organization using Windows or Windows laptop or let's say Windows devices. They mostly use different flavors. Like most of the server that runs are running Linux, for an example. So a SOC team needs to know about that in a much deeper way, and this is one of the most important part because this is the core component which actually helps you in kind of figuring out the root cause analysis, root cause of any kind of major incident, how that thing happened. Okay, so so in the forensics part, there is one rule actually that you can follow, which will be always be kind of guiding you on kind of how to kind of conduct the forensics. So let me tell you. So the first thing is like what questions are you trying to answer? So let's say you got a Windows laptop. Okay, you got a Windows laptop and someone asked you to do the forensics. Okay, so let's say let's say this is a question. Okay, someone came from some other team. They gave you a hard drive and they asked you the that you need to kind of conduct a forensics. So what's the first thing you will be doing? Any idea? Any answer to that? What's the first thing you will be doing when someone randomly comes to you and hand you over the hard drive to conduct the forensics? What the first thing you will do? So we scan the hard disk, whether any disk errors or any malware. Can you repeat that again? Like I'm not able to catch that.
So we'll be scanning the hard drive. So, or the first question we'll be asking is like, where you got it from. So is it like Windows hard drive or is it Linux or is it some? So we need to get like which brand, which operating system it belongs to. So that will be the first thing, and then we can move with the forensic analysis, like doing the scanning part and all that. So we don't have idea like about the forensic analysis. So you can, I think you can better explain.
Yeah, so you are actually correct. Like these are technical things that you need to kind of first figure out. Okay, like what's operating system, let's say what's the model of the hard drive and whatnot, and then you analyze. But one of the non-technical questions that you will be kind of asking even ahead of the technical things is like what question are you trying to answer? Because let's say there's a hard drive of an employee who did some policy violation, for an example, and that employee might be doing several stuff. Okay, so let's say there has been an policy violation by the employee where let's say he or she is let's say he or she is visiting a website which is not allowed by the company policy, for an example. Okay, so and thing is that you got the hardware and that person might be doing several other stuff. For an example, he or she might be let's say uploading data, confidential data of the company to some external servers, for an example, let's say Google Drive, OneDrive, for an example. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to ask the requester what questions are